नमस्कार कनक न्यूज को मो स्वागत करुच्ची अरविंद दास गोटे नुह दुईटी नुह 10टा भी नुह एका सांगरे 18टा ग्रांड स्लाम टाइटिल तार अधिकारी जी से पुणी भारतर एकमात्र क्रीड़ाविद भावे एवं विश्वर एकमात्र टेनिस तारका भावे सात सात थर ओलंपिक रे भाग नहीं से आउ कहीं नुहंती आज सशरीर आम गहन विद्यमान लिएंडर पेस तांकु मु कनक न्यूज को स्वागत करुच्ची। मिस्टर पेस, वेलकम टू द लार्जेस्ट मीडिया हाउस इन द स्टेट, दैट इज संवाद. Kanak News is also one of the aspects of our family. Welcome to this largest media house. This is your first visit to Odisha, I suppose. How do you feel?
Namaskar. This is my second visit to Bhubaneswar. I really enjoyed my first visit here when I came for the Hockey World Cup.
Right.
I was so proud to be an Indian when I saw that Odisha had done a phenomenal job with conducting the Hockey World Cup. I came to watch a match. I came to support the World Cup. I came to support Bhubaneswar and Odisha. And when you have international stage like that and you see our own country putting on such a wonderful showcase, it's a very proud moment.
You might be aware Bhubaneswar is gradually emerging as India's sports capital. Your views?
The #1 state in the country for sport.
Right. You are our Olympic guy. Your father was also a bronze medalist in 1972 Munich Olympics, and you were born in 1973. So we call you the Olympic guy. You are also proud of that. Your mom was also the captain of Indian basketball team. So that way you must be very, very lucky. Don't you think you are a very fortunate guy? Genetically you are, to some extent, you are gifted that way?
I feel very blessed to have been born in a country like India. I think we are very rich in culture. I think we are very rich in heritage. And through my family's journey in sport, we've tried to enhance the richness in sports education. My mother captained India in basketball. Dad won a medal in '72 in field hockey. But during that Olympics in Munich, I was conceived. So I was born with these big, strong legs. I grew up a footballer. I played every single sport in school in Kolkata, where I was born. And to be born to two parents who were such champions in their field, they set the environment at home for my two elder sisters and myself for sports excellence. I used to iron my mom and dad's.
You preserving jerseys of your dad and mom, and number 10 jersey of your dad and number 5 jersey of your mom. You're also policing the medal of your papa on every weekend, I suppose. So you must be feeling very, very proud.
You've done your homework there. Yes, I used to polish my father's Olympic medal every Sunday as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old. And that was the inspiration for me to be an Olympian. I also used to iron my mom and dad's jerseys, number 5 and number 10, like you said. And that was my inspiration to play for the tricolor.
What is the secret of your longevity? You are now 47 already, and of course you have called it a day, but still then you are still active in the circuit. You have, in your own admission, you have stated you are neither physically very, very gifted and nor are your backhands very special. So one hand backhand. So how can you manage with sheer talent only or something else?
I think it's the power of being Indian, the energy that the population gives us, my fans give me. Over the last 30 years of playing, my career playing for the country has been a real inspiration to me to be the best I can be. I think when you grow up in a lineage of a generation that preceded me to play for the tricolor, that's something this young boy lived for. Today, after 31 years of achieving what I have, if you ask me about any of my Grand Slam trophies, if you ask me any of my Olympic or Davis Cup memories, my favorite ones are when I played for India.
Is it? So you played with the father, Christian Ruud, Norway. You also played with his son in 2019 after almost 20 years or so. So तेरे बाप के साथ भी खेला हूँ. Such type of feelings was there.
You've really done your homework. Yes,
I've read a lot about you.
I've played through 8 generations of players.
Right.
And in 1991, I played Christian Ruud in the US Open Juniors. And then in 2019, I played against his son at the US Open, Casper Ruud. And it's quite an interesting feeling. Peter Korda's son, Sebastian Korda, I've played against him. Martin Dam's son, who was my partner in 2006, where we won the US Open and made the finals in Australia, his son is now playing.
135 doubles partner, 24 mixed doubles partner. It's really phenomenal.
I think this Indian culture that we grow up in about living in a joint family, grow up with a community, living in one of the largest democracies in the world, we learn how to get along with people. I think as Indians, we're also students of life. We're more acceptant of people rather than try and change people. So I believe that growing up in India teaches us a great culture about how to get along with people, to evaluate strengths and weaknesses, and choose your team or choose your partners whose strengths are your weakness and your strengths are their weakness.
Right.
So the
You
sum
also
of
struggled in the early part of your life. So any such story that would inspire the youth mass?
I think we would be sitting here for a whole year if I started on stories. But really the second innings that I'm on, the journey that I'm on, is about sharing the knowledge, is about taking 50 years of my father's Olympic knowledge, sports medicine knowledge, taking 30 years of my knowledge, how to win Grand Slams and how to achieve excellence in the field of sport. I think the real vehicle and the story that I want to tell is taking that knowledge and distributing it through sports education. For me, I find that in all of India, people are looking to prove world champions. People are looking to produce Grand Slam champions. People are looking to produce number ones in the world. So it's the top of the pyramid.
So you are mentally prepared for your second innings, I think.
Yes, and I think that as much as, yes, we could have a professional tennis academy, we could have professional academies for the top of the pyramid, but really my focus is also on the base of the pyramid. India is number one in the world in obesity.
Right.
India is number one in the world in diabetes. I also feel that mental health is a big issue
Right.
because of the stress that we undergo. So I feel that sport is a vehicle to teach physical health and mental health to have a wonderful community.
But
That
what
is the
about
message.
institutional help? What exactly you want the government to do about this?
Well, I feel that if we all come together as a community and join together and use sport as a vehicle to enhance the opportunities of our children, we have got 745 million children in our country who are under the age of 25.
Right.
My second innings is all about giving those children a better opportunity, just like how your parents and my parents gave us.
You are lucky in another way also. You started playing football, as you rightly said, and ultimately ended becoming one of the legends in tennis. Would you not have regretted in your life had you jumped into football, considering the status of football in India? Sunil Chhetris and Vaichung Bhutias, so they are undermined always. That way also you are lucky, I think, for having chosen a right path.
You know, Sunil and Baichung are both very dear friends of mine. I have so much respect for them. They are wonderful human beings.
Right.
But I think that when you look at my career, even if a man or a woman spends a whole lifetime winning one Grand Slam, it's a happy career.
Right.
For me to be blessed with 18 Grand Slams, 30 plus finals, 7 Olympics in a row, to create world records for India, to stand on a podium and watch an Indian flag go up on the world stage, has been the biggest blessing.
I am
am
totally
so
happy
proud.
with the way in which Indian sports and games are being conducted. Indian cricket is being perceived as something special always. Many sports lovers complain, well, there is a caste system in India with regard to games and sports, and cricketers are always preferentially treated. My simple question is, doesn't a Leander Paes envy a Sachin Tendulkar, or for that matter a Virat Kohli? Is there any regret in your life?
You know, envy is not a good thing. I think that most athletes and most people ridicule cricket because they take all the limelight, all the corporate sponsorship, so to say. I actually think cricket deserves it. I think that if you learn from what cricket has done, if you learn from the IPL, you learn from the BCCI, you learn from the national team, you learn how hard the cricket boys are working, it's important to give reverence where it's due. And it's important, as much as you give reverence, to also learn. If you look at the leagues in our country, you look at the Kabaddi League, you look at the Badminton League, you look at the Football League, I think that IPL paved the way for leagues in our country. Now Bhubaneswar, Orissa has a football team.
Things are improving.
It's improving a lot.
You must have remembered, you ended up 44 years of drought India's bronze medal quest. Now you are just bidding your effort for gold quest. So it's quite commendable. So in another interview, you were describing how Navratri Lobha and Chris Evert maintained camaraderie and friendship despite being fiercest of rivals, beating each other in US and Wimbledon. You wrote once, I have read it. Immigrated from a communist country, Czechoslovakia, how Navratri Lobha is sleeping on Chris' sofa, right? Could you not have maintained similar friendship with Bhupati?
I feel that what Mahesh and myself have achieved has been fantastic. I feel that as the elder partner, if I had the wisdom at that time to know that we were going to win Grand Slams and yet to make sure that our individual relationship was protected more than the people around us. So even today, if you put Mahesh and myself in the same room or in the same coffee table, we'd have great fun because we respect each other.
Right.
We really look at the ups more than the downs.
It was he who said, well, Paes has 1 year more career left in him. So it is quite commendable. Everyone really praises
I think when you have a friendship of two young boys, like that old Sholay movie which Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra had, Jay and Viru, I think that you look at that and there's some magic there.
But ye dil mange more. We people are convinced that had you not fallen out with Bhupati, certainly Indian tennis would have benefited a lot, much more than what exactly India got.
I think that we did a great job in actually proving to the whole country that we can be world beaters.
Right.
We were number one in the world for years. We were Grand Slam champions multiple times over. We won umpteen number of Davis Cup matches, 43 if I'm not mistaken to be exact. That being said, to be able to develop two young Indian boys to be world beaters took 15 years. There's a lot of hard work that went into that.
Do you think 1998 to 2000 as the dream run for you? First trouncing Sampras, then achieved doubles double. Next year defeating your favorite Roger Federer also. So that period must be the most interesting period in your life, I suppose.
As far as my tennis career goes, I've been very blessed in singles to have beaten Pete Sampras at New Haven in '98, to have beaten Roger Federer at Indian Wells, and also to covet my singles medal in the Olympics. So if you look at my singles career, it was fairly large. But then when I saw an opportunity that two young Indian boys could win Grand Slams, I felt it was more important at that time to prove to India that we could be Grand Slam champions. No one had ever done it before.
Right.
And that was important to me. Everything I'm driven about, everything I'm driven for is for India, is for my people, to prove to our people that with hard work and belief in ourselves, that we can be world champions.
You are not only a legend by yourself, you have also partnered many legendary players, especially in mixed doubles like Lisa Raymond, Martina Navratilova, Martina Hingis, Sania Mirza and many others. Which experience was most gratifying for you?
You're going to get me into trouble if I pick one?
Not at all.
I think each of my partners have been very special. I think when you're blessed to have a 30-year career, each partner I have a unique relationship with. Martina Navratilova was a leader in the team. She taught me about longevity. She taught me about diet. She taught me about yoga. She taught me about mental health and mental happiness. So for me, Martina was a great source of inspiration that I could play late into my 40s.
On the other hand, Hingis is a follower.
So
described
Martina
that way.
Hingis, who she's named after Navratilova, is more like a younger sister to me. We played together in a very vulnerable time in her life, and more off the court, we became very, very close.
Who would you like most, a leader or a follower?
I think both.
Right.
I think the biggest achievers in the world can lead when they need to lead, but they also have the ability to follow when they need to follow.
You have trounced many legends like Ferreira, Federer, Sampras and Ivanisevic. Again, which moment was most gratifying for you?
Tough to pick from so many moments, but standing on the Olympic podium in 1996 with my mother and my father in the audience, my medal around my neck with Andre Agassi on my right and Sergi Bruguera on his right, and watching the Indian flag go up along with the American and the Spanish flag on the Olympic podium, I could finally come to my father and say that I've got my own medal to polish. I used to polish my dad's medal every Sunday as a young boy, and now my father's medal and my medal sit right next to each other.
But you have to put all your medals together, all your trophies and medals are just scattered here and there. Reason?
Yes, you need a little bit of real estate to store these amount of trophies. I have a special thing that I do. My team have been with me for 25, 30 years, longevity team. So my manager in New York, he has all my Miami trophies because he's helped me in Miami win those trophies. So he has 4 Miami wins. My coach in Florida, he has an Olympic torch from Atlanta, and also all my American trophies are there. My father and my mother's house in Kolkata have all my junior trophies and my Olympic medal.
So you value friendship most, I think.
I think the greatest thing in life is people.
Right.
I think that living a sport like tennis, which is an individual sport, it's a very lonely sport. But the greatest thing that I've acquired is not my trophies. The greatest thing I've acquired is not my world championships. It's the people that I've acquired as friendships. It's the relationships that have made it so special.
Among the current greats, Federer, Djokovic and Nadal, who would you rate higher?
At the moment, I think Roger Federer is the greatest because the records books show that he's won on every single surface. He's won the most number of Grand Slams. But it's very hard to say that Rafa Nadal will not win the French Open. And if he does, I think Rafa Nadal is going to better Roger Federer's record. And I think since Roger and Rafa are a little older than Novak, Novak's going to play for a little longer. And I think in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, when Roger retires and Rafa retires, Novak's going to actually better all their records. It's quite exceptional the way that the health of men's tennis on a global stage is at the moment, on how you've got 3 champions who are pushing for the greatest of all time.
We always keep you a pedestal above rest other Indian tennis legends. But from among, if I ask you to choose one, Amrut Raj and your Krishnans, then Bhupati and Sania Mirza, who would you rate as the high that means the tallest figure in Indian tennis?
I would think it's very hard to compare athletes of different generations because some started with wooden rackets, some started with graphite rackets, some had different training systems at different generations. But really, if you actually looked at it, as a young boy from West Bengal, as a young boy who grew up to a Bengali mother and a Portuguese Goanese father, I'm so proud to be an Indian. I'm so proud that I've been able to conduct a career over 30 years. And what is going to mean the most to me now is to make sure that the next generation beats all our records. I think that as much as sport is growing in our country, and Orissa being the #1 state for sports growth, if we can add in a sports curriculum and create a system both at the top of the pyramid for excellence and at the large base, we will have a healthier community, a healthier youth in our country. We'll be able to eradicate obesity and diabetes, where we're #1 in the world in, and more importantly is give all our children an opportunity to be champions.
But another cause of concern is there. So the legacy formed by the likes of Bhupati, Leander, Paes and Sania Mirza, that is not being properly maintained by the next generation people.
I don't think so. I feel that from my perspective, I'm very proud of our young Indian boys and girls in all disciplines, not just in the field of sport, for striving so hard. If you look at the modern generation, we call them the next generation or the X generation, they have so much of stress coming at them all the time. With these new age gadgets like smartphones, smart pads, computers, different entertainment on television or on the internet.
General standard might have improved, but legends are not produced.
Well, I think that to produce legends, it takes a long time. I think that word legend is used very loosely, but I think to achieve excellence in a craft takes 2 or 3 decades. And I think that that journey, patience is needed. I think that as much as India has improved in the base, like you said, I think that from the base, the cream of the crop, how you become from good to great, people like myself who've had that experience, who've been lucky enough and blessed enough to achieve success over time, it's our job to execute that to the young kids.
That you are going to ensure in your second innings, I suppose. What about your probable next innings in life? You had once glorified the efforts of Rahul Dravid and Pulela Gopichan, but they have groomed so many young talents. Would you prefer coaching after you finally bid adieu to the game?
You know, I'm so proud of Rahul Dravid, the wall of Gopi, of Saurav Ganguly, of Kumble, because these athletes were phenomenal athletes in their own right. And if they, when they retired, just went into looking after their families, sitting at home and enjoying their trophies and their history books that they've already created, no one would complain. But the fact that they went out there and created a second innings and got into sports governance, got into sports education, got into academies, I think that for me, those guys are like my role models. Those guys are the ones that I look up to, where a Gopi Chand has not only done so well in the All England club, he's created 2 Olympic champions, both in Saina and in PV Sindhu. If you look at Rahul Dravid, not only was he the wall and one of our finest test batsmen, and that immense mental aptitude of patience, he's taken the under 19 cricket team and created world champions out of them. Fantastic. You look at Saurabh. We grew up in Kolkata at Salt Lake training from 1991 onwards, and we are very close friends. I was with him recently in London, and we were talking about the next innings and his advice on what I should do, and it was fairly large and vast. But for me, I'd like to be focused, and look how well he's focused himself.
What
he's
is the current status of Olympic Gold Quest? You are one of the directors there, and you are associated with the legends like Prakash Padukone and Geet Sethi.
You know, I think that the Olympic Gold Quest is a good organization. It does a lot of good work with athletes and got a lot of great names to it. People that I respect a lot, like Prakash Padukone, Neeraj Bajaj, you've got Vishwanath Anand, you've got a good old boxer on there. But if you actually look at the country as a whole, there are many foundations coming up. There's the Olympic Gold Quest Foundation, you've got the Mittal Foundation, you've got the Jindal Foundation, you've got the Reliance Foundation, all doing work in the field of sport. The base of sport in the country has grown multiple fold. But still, to achieve excellence right at the top, that is something still to be decided. Also the grassroots programs, that is something to be still decided, because unless you have the grassroots programs in schools and in the rural areas, you're not going to have feeding systems to the excellence centers. So for me, I'm concentrating on the top of the pyramid and the large base.
Now in Joklar, what were your distractions in your playing days?
Not many. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I've never been into drugs or stuff like that, or gambling. I've had a very disciplined life.
Perfect role model for the youngsters.
I think that you lead by example, right? I mean, the sacrifice that it takes for any achiever, not just myself, but any achiever in any walk of life, the sacrifice that it takes, or the discipline that it takes, or the tunnel vision that it takes to master the craft, you have to enjoy the loneliness of excellence. You have to enjoy your own personality and master that craft.
Your Tokyo ticket?
We'll see. It's still a ways away. I think that now, sitting in February, the Olympics is in the end of July or early August in Tokyo. For me, it will be the greatest honor to achieve that world record for India, to play 8 Olympics.
Are you totally satisfied with what you have really achieved so far? How do you view your life from Goa to Mumbai via Kolkata? Is there any regret in life?
You know, the story and the narrative is so big. I've been a very blessed young man. When I grew up in the gullies of Kolkata and Baliganj, playing gully football and gully cricket, barefoot, I never dreamed that I would sit here with you in such a long career with so many accolades. But I don't rest on those accolades. I'm very proud of them. I hope I've made my parents proud. But the day I can produce my own world champion, the day I can prove to India that we can have hundreds of Olympic athletes going to the Olympics, that is when I'll be happy.
Can you give a precise message to the youth mass of Odisha?
That with a lot of hard work and belief in yourself and being a student of life in your craft, if I can be a world champion, so can you.
Many, many thanks. On behalf of Sambad family, I express my gratitude to you. You have really enthused all of us, and we hope your second innings would be extremely productive like your first one. You would produce hundreds of Leander Paes. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you.
देखिले तो दर्शक बंधु 47 वर्ष बयस भी जितेबले तांकर प्रथम इनिंग सरी सरी आसुची, जितेबले तांकर प्रथम सक्रिय क्रीड़ा जीवन सरी सरी आसुची, से सेतेबेले निज द्वितीय क्रीड़ा जीवन को नहीं केते उत्साहित कोचिंग को आसीबे, आहुरी अनेक लिएंडर पेस सृष्टि करिवे। संवाद परिवार तांकठू आज एया ही कामना करे।